revenue, especially in today's market, right? What we're ultimately looking at is revenue. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the probably biggest complaints that we get, right, is you don't have it, even though we have like 3 dozen alternative payment methods integrated into our platform, like you don't have this payment method. So I'm not gonna sign with you. Well, I look at their revenue, I'm like, well, you're gonna bring me $100 a month in revenue. So I just can't prioritize that, right? It kind of goes back. You hear this a lot, right? And until you experience it, it's hard to say. But don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say no. It doesn't matter if it's a customer or an employee. If it's ultimately not driving revenue for the business, it doesn't matter, right? And I had a conversation with a startup who recently got some funding, and just today, and these, hey, we're trying to find our fit, and my advice was focus on one vertical within a single platform. Don't deviate outside of that. If they do, they better be driving a lot of revenue in order to make that successful. So I mean, one of the things that we started doing for a lot of the partnership integrations and merchant integrations, we started charging an implementation fee, right? Why? Not necessarily because it was a revenue driver, but it was a way to keep us focused from getting distracted from things that don't drive revenue. Because it's a dual partnership when you get in bed with a vendor, right? Whether it be us or the other way around, you have to have commitment on both sides. And if that one side isn't willing to commit time and money to that, then why should you? Right. And some people are very like, I got my first customer, it's great. But it's like in neobanking, right? There's two sides of driving revenue. It is consumer acquisition, consumer activation, right? And those are two very, very different things. And then activating the consumer, you still have to keep them coming back, right? So there's two sides of that coin, and I think people, especially in early stage startups, are focused too much on vanity metrics, and I think that's a big mistake that people make when working on their startup.